Williams, two comedy legends, have finally broken their silence, defying the industry's unspoken rules. Both have built their careers by fearlessly exposing uncomfortable truths, often at great personal cost. But now their target is bigger than ever: Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful figures in entertainment. For years, Oprah has been seen as a media mogul, a philanthropist, and a cultural icon, but Chapelle and Williams are now exposing a different side of her influence, one that Hollywood doesn't want you to see. What shocking truths are they revealing? Why are they speaking out now? Could this truly be the end of Oprah's iron grip on the industry? Let's find out. Oprah's hidden influence. The entertainment industry's power structure operates like a carefully orchestrated dance, with key players in perfect synchronization to maintain control. At the center of this intricate system sits a select group of influential figures, including Oprah Winfrey, whose connections extend far beyond her public persona. Oprah Winfrey's name alone commands respect. She's celebrated as the queen of daytime television, a billionaire philanthropist, and an influential figure shaping culture and minds worldwide. But beyond the carefully crafted public image lies a web of connections and influence that stretches deep into Hollywood's core. What if her rise to power isn't just a story of hard work and determination, but also of strategic alliances, silent manipulations, and hidden agendas? Oprah's influence isn't confined to her talk show legacy. She's been a pivotal force in Hollywood, deciding who gets the spotlight and who fades into obscurity. Her media empire isn't just about entertainment, it's about control. From launching the careers of authors and spiritual leaders to shaping public opinion on critical issues, Oprah's reach extends far beyond the screen. But with great power comes the potential for great manipulation. For years, she has presented herself as a champion of truth and empowerment, but many insiders suggest that Oprah is far more than just a media icon. She is one of Hollywood's key gatekeepers, ensuring that only those who follow the rules are allowed to succeed. Figures like Dave Chapelle and Katt Williams, outspoken, fearless, and unwilling to conform, have found themselves blacklisted, targeted, and discredited. And the deeper you dig, the more Oprah's name starts to appear in the background of their struggles. One of the most controversial moments in Oprah's career was her close friendship with Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced Hollywood mogul convicted of SA. Despite numerous reports of his behavior, Oprah continued to support him publicly, even embracing him at high-profile industry events. When Weinstein was finally exposed, many questioned how Oprah, one of the most well-connected figures in Hollywood, could have been unaware of his actions. Actress Rose McGowan, one of Weinstein's victims, directly called Oprah out, tweeting, "I am glad more are seeing the ugly truth of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't." From being pals with Weinstein to abandoning and destroying Russell Simmons' victims, she is about supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. Seal, the Grammy-winning musician, also accused Oprah of being complicit in covering up Weinstein's crimes. In a social media post, he wrote, "Oh, I forgot, that's right, you've heard the rumors, but you kept supporting him anyway. You're part of the problem." Oprah's ties to Jeffrey Epstein have also raised eyebrows, while there is no direct proof linking her to his criminal activities. Many critics point to her long-standing friendships with other powerful figures in Epstein's inner circle, including billionaire Leslie Wexner, who has been accused of facilitating Epstein's trafficking ring. Then there's Oprah's connection to faith healer John of God, whom she once promoted on her talk show as a miraculous healer. Years later, he was convicted of sexually abusing hundreds of women. Despite once praising him on national television, Oprah distanced herself after the scandal broke, claiming she had no knowledge of his crimes. More recently, Oprah faced backlash over resurfaced footage of her interview with Cindy Crawford, in which she asked the young supermodel to stand up and show off her body for the audience, treating her like a product rather than a person. Critics have questioned how a woman who built her brand on female empowerment could have engaged in such behavior. Her power goes beyond just her own actions, it extends to the way she shapes public perception. Over the years, Oprah has conducted high-profile interviews that have served to either uplift or destroy celebrities' reputations. When she interviewed Lance Armstrong, she framed it as a redemption arc, helping him rehabilitate his public image after his doping scandal. But when she interviewed Michael Jackson's alleged victims in Leaving Neverland, she used her platform to cement the narrative against him despite ongoing questions about the credibility of the allegations. This pattern of influence begs the question, is Oprah truly a champion of truth, or has she been working to protect the very system Chapelle and Williams are exposing? Dave Chappelle's rebellion, walking away from $50 million, was a defining moment in entertainment history. Chapelle built his career on unfiltered truth, sharp social commentary, and fearless critiques of Hollywood, but his willingness to speak out has often come at a price. Chappelle's career skyrocketed with Chapelle's Show, a groundbreaking sketch comedy series that exposed racial and social issues with brutal honesty. However, in 2005, Chapelle famously walked away from a $50 million deal with Comedy Central. While many speculated about stress, burnout, or personal struggles, the underlying truth was far more complex than anyone imagined. "I wasn't walking away from the money," Chapelle revealed during his Netflix special. "I was walking away from the circumstances." Those words would echo through the entertainment world, leaving many to wonder what could drive a man to abandon such astronomical wealth. Dave's decision didn't happen overnight, the pressure had been building steadily. During the filming of Season 3, he noticed subtle changes in how people treated him. The creative freedom that had made Chapelle's show revolutionary was slowly being stripped away. "You signed the contract, but you never read the fine print about what they want from you," Dave explained in a later interview. The breaking point came during a particular sketch. Dave noticed the laughter felt different. It wasn't with him anymore, it was at him. "I was doing funny but socially irresponsible sketches," he admitted. This realization hit him hard. The show that had given him a platform to speak truth through comedy was being twisted into something else entirely. But walking away wasn't as simple as just saying no. The pressure to continue mounted daily. "They were trying to convince me I'm insane," Dave shared, his voice carrying the weight of those difficult days. "They wanted me to take medication, but I wasn't crazy, I was the only one seeing things." The parallels to other artists labeled unstable for questioning the system weren't lost on him. The media machine kicked into high gear. Headlines questioned his mental health, late-night hosts made jokes about him having a mental breakdown, but Dave stood firm. "You say this about me in front of my children," he would later recall, the pain still evident in his voice. The attacks weren't just professional, they were personal. What made the situation even more troubling was the role of those who claimed to be advocates for artist rights. Oprah Winfrey, who had built her empire on the premise of giving voice to the voiceless, remained noticeably silent as the narrative about Dave's mental state spread. As Dave later suggested, her silence spoke volumes about the true power dynamics. The $50 million contract wasn't just about money, it represented a choice between wealth and authenticity. "I don't need to take someone's money to be happy," Dave stated firmly. "I need to keep my soul to be happy." This declaration would become a rallying cry for other artists trapped in similar situations. As the pressure mounted, Dave found himself at a crossroads. The entertainment industry had shown its true colors, revealing a system that valued compliance over creativity. The very people who had praised his genius were now questioning his sanity. The $50 million question wasn't about whether he would take the money but whether he would surrender his artistic integrity. Dave chose himself over the system. He chose self-imposed exile, retreating to Africa to escape the pressure, but in doing so, he maintained something far more valuable, his freedom to tell the truth as he saw it. The decision would set the stage for a larger conversation about power, control, and the true cost of success in Hollywood. Katt Williams' stand against the Hollywood machine mirrors Chapelle's in more ways than one, marked by moments of brilliance intertwined with controversy. But beyond the headlines and tabloid stories lies a deeper narrative, a battle against the same Hollywood machinery that sought to control Chapelle. Williams wasn't just another comedian facing legal troubles, he was a voice refusing to be silenced, challenging the foundations of an industry that thrives on conformity. Williams' comedy was unapologetic, raw, and often uncomfortable for those in power. His routines didn't just entertain, they exposed societal hypocrisies and questioned the norms most were too afraid to address. But with that fearless approach came repercussions. Williams found himself navigating an environment where success was often conditional on compliance, silence, and playing by unwritten rules. "They don't just let you fall," Williams said. "They push you." As his popularity soared, so did the obstacles, legal issues, sudden career setbacks, and a media narrative that painted him as volatile became recurring themes. These weren't just coincidences, they reflected a pattern, a system's response to an individual who refused to fit the mold. Williams' struggles weren't just personal battles, they were symptomatic of a larger issue within the entertainment industry, the suppression of voices that challenged the status quo. Behind the scenes, Williams observed how certain figures wielded their power to shape narratives. Oprah's name kept surfacing in conversations about industry control. According to Williams, her influence extended beyond her television empire, reaching into every entertainment corner through strategic alliances and carefully cultivated relationships. She helped maintain the delicate balance of power that kept Hollywood's hierarchy intact. The comedy circuit became a battleground where truth-tellers faced constant challenges. Williams noticed how comedians who played by the rules were rewarded with prime opportunities and positive press coverage. Meanwhile, those who dared to question the system fought an uphill battle against negative publicity and limited opportunities. Unlike many who faced similar pressures, Williams chose confrontation over compliance. His public appearances often doubled as platforms for unfiltered truths, veiled beneath layers of sharp wit and humor. He spoke of the unseen forces that dictated who rose and fell, hinting at a network of power dynamics few dared to openly acknowledge. His defiance came at a cost. Opportunities dwindled, collaborations became scarce, and his name was often associated more with controversy than his undeniable talent. But Williams remained undeterred. His resilience wasn't just about personal pride, it was a testament to the importance of authenticity in an industry that rewards conformity. Much like Chapelle's, Williams' journey is a stark reminder of the price of truth in Hollywood. It highlights the dichotomy between fame and freedom, success and self-worth. Through his struggles and triumphs, Williams embodied the spirit of resistance. He wasn't just speaking out against Hollywood in general, he was pointing to a specific network of power, one that included names like Oprah Winfrey. The Africa escape. When Dave Chappelle left for Africa, the media painted it as a mental breakdown. But looking deeper into the timeline reveals a different story. In the weeks leading up to his departure, strange things started happening. His phone calls were dropping mysteriously, cars would follow him home from comedy clubs, and even his closest friends started receiving unusual requests for information about his whereabouts. Chapelle later revealed that his trip to Africa wasn't about escape, it was about survival. He needed to remove himself from Hollywood's reach to clear his mind and understand the full extent of the forces working against him. In Africa, Chapelle was surrounded by people with no agenda and no connection to Hollywood's power structure. For the first time in years, he could think clearly, without the constant pressure of industry expectations. During his time away, Chapelle allegedly began documenting everything he had witnessed in Hollywood. He filled notebooks with detailed accounts of meetings, conversations, and events that had led to his departure. These notebooks, which have never been made public, allegedly contain information that could shake Hollywood's foundation. The African continent provided more than just refuge, it offered perspective. Away from Hollywood's manufactured reality, Chapelle could see the bigger picture. The same power structure that had tried to control him was actively working to silence other voices of truth in the industry. During his time away, suspicious activities continued back in the States. His old comedy material mysteriously disappeared from various platforms. Projects he had been developing were suddenly shelved without explanation. Even his former collaborators found themselves facing unexpected career obstacles. His time in Africa also revealed connections between Hollywood's elite and various business interests that further deepened the mystery surrounding the entertainment industry's hidden power dynamics. Ventures. These dealings, often masked as charitable initiatives, raised questions about the true nature of celebrity philanthropy, questions that pointed directly to figures like Oprah and her influence over entertainment and international affairs. And when he returned, he wasn't the same. He had seen the machine for what it was, and he wasn't going to be controlled by it anymore. The machine fights back, how Hollywood silences truth-tellers. Hollywood doesn't just let dissenters fade away, it actively destroys them. Chapelle and Williams were not just stars who walked away or struggled with fame, they were truth-tellers. And truth is dangerous in an industry built on illusion. The pattern is clear: Britney Spears, Kanye West, Martin Lawrence, each of them questioned the system and saw their reputations crumble the moment they stopped following the script. The industry turned against them. At the center of this machine sit powerful figures who decide what stories get told and which voices get erased. For years, Oprah has been one of those figures. She has built up careers, but she has also stayed silent when voices like Chappelle's and Williams were being torn down. Her influence is now under more scrutiny than ever. Breaking the silence, the unraveling of Hollywood's control. For years, Chapelle and Williams hinted at Hollywood's hidden power structures, dropping cryptic comments in interviews and stand-up specials. But now, the silence is truly being broken. During his Netflix specials, Chapelle wove deeper commentary into his comedy, using humor as a weapon to dissect power, control, and the price of fame. "They don't want you to think for yourself," he once quipped. "They just want you to laugh on cue." His performances became less about punchlines and more about peeling back the layers of Hollywood's carefully constructed facade. Fans began to notice the shift. His jokes weren't just funny, they were warnings. He was exposing an industry that doesn't just make stars, it owns them. Unlike Chapelle, Katt Williams took a more direct approach. In interviews and stand-up sets, he called out the systemic control Hollywood exerts over its stars. "They'll build you up just to tear you down," he said during a sold-out show in Atlanta. "And if you don't play along, they'll make sure you disappear." Williams pointed to the rise and fall of certain celebrities as evidence of a larger pattern. "It's not luck or talent that decides who makes it," he argued. "It's who's willing to play the game." He called out Oprah directly, hinting that she is one of the industry's biggest enforcers. Chapelle and Williams' experiences highlighted a troubling truth: Hollywood's power structure thrives on isolation and control. Artists who gain too much independence or dare to question the system often face unexpected obstacles. Projects mysteriously fall through, opportunities vanish, and suddenly, they are fighting battles on multiple fronts. "They make it so you're too busy surviving to even think about speaking out," Williams explained during a recent interview. This control pattern isn't new, but how it operates has become more sophisticated. Those who remain silent and play by the rules are rewarded with protection and promotion. Those who speak out, like Chapelle and Williams, systematically sidelined. "It's not about talent," Chapelle said during a stand-up set. "It's about compliance." As more details emerged, attention turned to the role of major media figures like Oprah in perpetuating these systems. Her position at the intersection of entertainment and influence made her a key figure in maintaining Hollywood's balance of power. Key player in shaping narratives and controlling public perception. But as Chapelle and Williams continued to speak out, cracks began to form in her carefully crafted image. The entertainment industry's reaction to these revelations was telling. Instead of addressing the substance of what Chapelle and Williams were saying, attempts were made to redirect public attention. Headlines focused on trivial scandals, and Oprah's team released carefully curated statements about her philanthropic work. But this time, the usual tactics of distraction and deflection weren't working as effectively. Social media played a crucial role in amplifying these voices of dissent. Platforms like Twitter and Instagram allowed Chapelle and Williams to bypass traditional media and speak directly to their audiences. When mainstream outlets tried to spin the narrative, fans pushed back, sharing clips and quotes that exposed the truth. "They can't control the story anymore," Williams said during a live stream. "The people are waking up." This new era of transparency directly challenged Hollywood's old ways of controlling information. The same mechanisms that once served to maintain power were now being used to expose it. Each revelation built upon the last, creating a clearer picture of how deeply entrenched these control systems are. Oprah's defense, a calculated response. As the storm of accusations from Dave Chapelle and Katt Williams grew louder, Oprah Winfrey found herself in unfamiliar territory. She had been untouchable for decades, a symbol of empowerment, resilience, and success. But now, her carefully curated image was under siege. The allegations were serious: manipulation, control, and complicity in Hollywood's darker dealings. Oprah, known for her poise and strategic thinking, decided it was time to address the growing controversy head-on. In a rare televised interview, Oprah sat with a trusted journalist to defend herself. Her tone was calm but firm, her words measured. "I've spent my life building bridges, not walls," she began. "To hear these accusations, that I've somehow been complicit in silencing or controlling others, it's not just hurtful, it's untrue." She acknowledged the criticism but framed it as a misunderstanding of her role in the industry. "I've always tried to uplift and empower, especially black voices. But I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes, and I take responsibility for them." Oprah's defense was layered. She addressed specific claims, such as her involvement with certain figures and her decisions in high-profile interviews. "I've met countless people in my career. Some have turned out to be flawed, even problematic. But I can't be held accountable for the actions of others. I've always acted in good faith." She also touched on her relationship with other celebrities, defending her choices as being in the interest of transparency and truth. "I believe in giving a platform to those who feel voiceless. That's not an attack on anyone's legacy, it's about shedding light on difficult truths." But Oprah's response wasn't just about defending herself, it was also a subtle counterattack. She hinted at the challenges of being a black woman in a position of power. "When you're at the top, everyone wants to take a shot at you. I've been criticized for being too successful and too influential, but I've never let that stop me from doing what I believe is right." Her words were carefully chosen to evoke empathy, painting herself as a victim of jealousy and misunderstanding. The interview was a masterclass in damage control. Oprah's team ensured it was widely covered, with headlines focusing on her "grace under fire" and unwavering commitment to truth. Social media buzzed with debates. Some praised her for addressing the allegations directly, while others saw it as a calculated move to protect her brand. Katt Williams, never one to back down, responded almost immediately in a live-streamed rant. He dismissed Oprah's defense as scripted nonsense. "She can spin it however she wants," he said, "but the truth doesn't change. She's part of the system, and the system is broken." Williams doubled down on his claims, promising to reveal more in the coming weeks. "This isn't about taking her down, it's about exposing the truth. And the truth doesn't care about your feelings." Meanwhile, Dave Chapelle remained characteristically quiet. He didn't address Oprah's interview directly, but during a stand-up performance, he made a cryptic reference to "people who talk a lot but say nothing." The audience laughed, but the message was clear: Chapelle wasn't buying Oprah's defense. The public's reaction was divided. Oprah's loyal fan base rallied behind her, praising her for her transparency and resilience. But others, particularly younger audiences, were skeptical. "She's deflecting," one Twitter user wrote. "This isn't about her mistakes but her power." Memes and videos dissecting the interview flooded social media, with many pointing out inconsistencies in her statements and some questioning, "Is Oprah finished? Is it truly over?" Dave Chapelle and Katt Williams' revelations have done more than just expose Hollywood's hidden power structures. They've shattered the illusion of untouchability surrounding Oprah Winfrey. For years, she wielded influence over careers, narratives, and public perception. But now, the cracks in her empire are too big to ignore. The controversies, the unanswered questions, and the growing scrutiny have stripped away the carefully maintained image of a benevolent media mogul. With each revelation, more voices are speaking out, and the public is beginning to see the patterns of control that have long been hidden in plain sight. This isn't just a moment of backlash, it's a turning point. Oprah's days as Hollywood's ultimate gatekeeper are numbered. The empire she spent decades building is no longer unshakable, and for the first time, her influence is slipping beyond her control. Her reign over the industry isn't just being challenged, it's crumbling. Dave Chapelle and Katt Williams have done what few dared to do: expose the truth and accelerate the downfall of one of entertainment's most powerful figures. The question is no longer if Oprah's dominance will end, but when. What do you think? Is Oprah's reign truly over, or is there more to uncover? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.